Bioré has a mental health awareness campaign called Get All That Shiz Out. And they just recently did a brand deal with a TikToker, a micro-influencer, who essentially monetized her trauma from a school shooting to advertise Bioré strips. If you don't know, Bioré strips are these cosmetic products that you put on your nose or your forehead, and they pull out blackheads. So I guess they thought you could do the same for trauma. If you've been the victim of a school shooting, you should buy a Bioré strip.
Pull out your trauma.
It's to pull out all the gunpowder.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh.
So how about we first react to this video?
Okay.
It went viral on Twitter.
All right, hold on here. Put it on screen, and here we go.
Thrown countless obstacles at me this year, from a school shooting to having no idea what life is going to look like after college. Supportive Mental Health Awareness Month, I'm partnering with Bioré Skincare to strip away the stigma of anxiety.
We want you to get it all out. Not only what's in your pores, but most importantly, what's on your mind too. Anxiety in my life has come in waves. I found myself recently struggling from seeing the effects of gun violence firsthand. I've had to intentionally set aside time for prioritizing my mental health. I will never forget the feeling of terror that I had walking around campus for weeks in a place I considered home, with countless anxiety attacks to crying alone in my room at night. My message to you guys is that it's okay not to have it all together. Life continually changes and your thoughts will too. Do things that make you happy and know everything will work itself out. Join me and Bioré Skincare in speaking up about mental health by screenshotting this digital card and filling it out yourself. Every video posted is a step closer to normalizing conversations about mental health.
Okay, here's the thing. There's a reason why they hire actors
instead of influencers.
Well, yeah, it sounds callous. When the tone really, really matters, there's a reason why they don't.
I think a lot of it was the music she chose. That's just like
Bob. It's literally it's a step above
what they play in your Soul Cycle class.
Like she just got off the Peloton and said, "Here, let me talk to you about my trauma."
Yeah. A lot of people were saying like we live in a dystopian reality. Another person said, who thought this was a good idea? This is why I always ask for TikTok to get banned. Not because of privacy issues, but because people will do and say anything for views. And she did accomplish that, to be fair. But Bioré got a lot of backlash for this decision.
At the very least, they could have had somebody like, is there not like some editor who's like, hey, like, great. You can lie to her.
At no step along the way did someone question this and think, maybe we shouldn't publish this video.
Like, I'm not even saying not publish the video. I'm like, not even one person was like, maybe a somber song?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I think probably happened is they gave her, there's probably no like actual oversight. So they're like, oh yeah, we'll choose this account and we'll just, give her the products.
I think they chose her because she was the victim of a school shooting.
Sure. But I don't think, was this posted on her account or on Bioré's account?
They apologized, so it must have been taken down.
What I'm saying is, I don't know if she was given any direction, which is stupid,
Well, usually you'll get some type of like requirement sheet, a sheet of like, it needs to say this, it needs to say this.
Well, like when we do ad reads, sometimes it says, talk about a personal experience and how this product or this service, helps. Right? So she probably went, well, I did survive a school shooting.
Yeah.
And, we're talking about pore strips. Well, that works, so.
What she's talking
sounds like
about,
she had the creative control, not the company.
What she's talking about are valid things to talk about. Okay. I don't know how relevant they are to Bioré strips, but the tone is just ridiculous.
I am not sure that this girl was even directly involved in the incident of gun violence that happened at Michigan State, because Michigan State has 50,000 students, and she could very well have not been involved in
look at
that
David
at all,
Hogg.
But is now still
he wasn't there.
Yeah, she's using this to monetize trauma coins.
Of course. I mean, David Hogg was the one who championed this. Look at the fact that he just attended that school, then rushed there. I don't even think he was there that day, then went to the school to do an interview with the news. And now look at him. Right? He got into Harvard. He's friends with politicians, right? Yeah. He's set for life.
Didn't his family have some weird connection to the CIA or something? I don't know.
That
Kino
guy,
Corner is in the chat right now.
Hello,
Kino Corner.
What's up, people?
What is going on?
So, again, that's what happens with this whole influencer. Everyone wants to be an influencer, and they see the people like David Hogg, who that's the exception, not the rule, And he's also not using his experience to sell pore strips,
Yeah.
or
like at least he's just trying to take away my gun rights.
Right. I mean, at least it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
he wants to take away my gun rights because he was a victim of gun violence, right? That makes more sense than I was a victim of gun violence. Here, your nose looks like it could use some sprucing up.
This influencer, Cecily Max Brown, has since privated her TikTok account, so I can't even look at her apology video that she posted. It was a Notes app apology, and now it's off the platform.
Hate it when that happens.
But she apologized and told NBC News on Friday that her TikTok came off completely wrong. I wanted the message to shed light on how I've been struggling with anxiety after our school shooting. My only intention was to try and help other people that are going through the same experience and not desensitize what happened. This partnership was not intending to come off as the product fixing the struggles I've had since this event, rather partnering with a brand to spread awareness of what me and so many other students have been dealing with.
I'm so sick of brands trying to spread awareness of something other than the freaking products they make.
Right.
Stop trying to tell me about everything else.
It's like the Stone Toss comic all over again. Like, what does this have to do with burgers?
Not shit.
Nothing.
well, like Joy Behar's, you know, she always has just something terrible and stupid to say, but she recently said that the fact that, I think she was talking about Tim Scott, the guy that just announced he's running for the presidency, right? The fact that he believes in pulling up yourself by your bootstraps, or just getting up when you get knocked down, that is proof that he's not actually black, right? And so it's like, these people today think you have to be a victim, and if you show any resiliency, then you're disqualified from knowing what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like it's so stupid. It's so dumb.
This is like part of their strip the stigma away challenge. And I think there's this common misconception that the biggest hurdle for people facing mental illness is stigma rather than just not receiving treatment.
Literally the stigma's gone now.
Yeah, there's no stigma. And if anything,
it's an inflated marketplace.
Incidents like this stigmatize anxiety or depression even more.
If they wanted to actually like have a successful campaign, what they should have probably done is do a little skit with TikTokers that might have been dating, and then the girlfriend's trying to get the boyfriend to do like an actual facial routine.
They should have done none of this. And nothing talking about a topic this seriously. Yeah. If you're a company, okay, just think of it this way. You're a company. You've got a large budget. You can make a high-end commercial if you want. Sure, you want to sell Bioré strips with a bunch of influencers with some jazz music in the background, you can do that. But if you're going to deign to talk about serious topics, hire a film crew, hire a writer, hire an editor, and for gosh sakes, hire an actual product script editor that will tell you this tone works. This tone doesn't work. We need to change this. You need to put more forethought into the stuff. You're cheapening the importance of the topic by not giving it more effort than the standard advertisement.
Right. Well, the product also doesn't make sense for the trauma. It's like if, with what, you talk about, Brett, if someone tried to then sell you like a mattress because of that, it makes no sense.
Did you go through a school shooting, or have you been crying yourself to sleep at night?
We'll
get a new mattress from Sealy, because for gosh sakes, if you're going to shut yourself away in your room for the next 2 years as you deal with the extreme trauma of being involved in a school shooting, you should be comfortable.
Yeah.
Like,
Bioré also posted an apology on their Instagram account saying, "We know a lot of you are angry at us right now, and we get it. We just ask that you direct any anger our way, not toward the creators themselves."
That's fair.
I don't know if it is, because one person said this person made the conscious decision to post a video relating to their brand deal with an absolute tragedy. They need to be held accountable for their actions.
Okay, yeah. Like I think the biggest problem is that she just doesn't understand tone. She might actually have the same valid feelings. She just didn't understand the music she chose doesn't work.
They said, "Our consumers have told us mental health is one of their biggest priorities, and it's important for us to be able to provide meaningful support to them around this issue. How about their friends and families and communities provide support for them rather than a mega corporation?
I think everyone's wrong here. I think I'd still stand by. I think the TikToker herself probably had creative control here, and that's why the video just came across so tone deaf. Because what does a young college kid know about producing an ad? Probably nothing.
Exactly.
Right. But then also the company.
It's just child labor at this point.
What's the campaign called? Strip the stress away or something?
Strip the stigma away.
Okay, so like. They're just at fault too, because what a stupid campaign idea. Like, know your lane. You guys are facial cleansing strips. Like, you're part of a facial routine.
That sweet, sweet ESG money.
Dude, it's so much easier to sell a product based on it working, and then you won't have to, like, this is why there's probably an entire industry around PR apologies.
Yeah.
Like, the people get paid to write these apology.
Well, like
they probably write it before they even
say,
release it, just in case.
Yeah.
Let's say Bioré like wanted to sponsor this show, right? I would be like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. Mary like always uses these strips; they're so great. And Brett, you're like, no, I'm a man. I don't use any strips like that. Like, makes much more sense for like creating a silly little influencer developed advertisement.
Strip clubs can do strip.
There you go. Yeah.
I think they should have done like brand deals where they get girls to put the Bioré strips on their boyfriends.
Yeah.
And then that would have been far more popular and not controversial.
Yeah, because then women
instead they have to do this woke marketing.
Then they can buy them as a gift, and that might increase sales, or they just might buy them for themselves. Or the guy might see it and be like, my girlfriend will like this.
This has to be
they
women.
Also said, this time we did it wrong. We promoted one of our influencer stories in the campaign, and the promotion of that content was insensitive. We lacked sensitivity around an incredibly serious tragedy, and our tonality was completely inappropriate.
I think they should have doubled down and just made one even worse.
So like, did some
make the next one about like sexual assault or something horrible
some
like that.
ad agent, some lady at some board meeting was like, okay, so there was this amazingly tragic thing that happened in society. How can we make this about
You know
us?
what? They should partner up with Secret Mizzy, the home invasion TikToker, where he starts promoting.
Wasn't there another video we were supposed to look at? I have this one here from we all have the one friend who is way too nonchalant about literally the most traumatic events.
There was this video of Miranda Cosgrove on a podcast talking about a guy who was planning to murder her at her house, and he self-immolated in her backyard, and she was just telling this story like it was nothing.
Here we go.
Anyway, I went to my parents' house, and then I got a call at like 3 a.m. that somebody had like died at my house. And it was the weirdest thing ever because they had like caution tape up.
So weird.
You know, like it was right in my front yard, and basically
I hate it when that happens. I hate it when that happens.
He came and he was like burying things in my backyard for like 3 days. And he buried a lunchbox with like a milk chocolate inside of it in my backyard. And then he buried like knives and like a rope and like a bunch of random stuff. And I guess he'd been in my backyard like hanging out there and like burying things. Why I didn't notice, I don't know. And
that is a problem.
Apparently not very observant. And then I found out later that like all that stuff was there, and that he had been like pacing in my backyard with a gun. He also looked like crazy. Like he was wearing like this long trench coat, and he had like a
still dressed better than your date in the zebra pants.
Yeah, he was dressed.
It's so funny when people who self-immolate in my backyard don't dress well. How did he not know to dress better on his final day on Earth? What was he thinking?
Pretty nicely. But yeah, he was just like pacing in my backyard, I guess.
She's a step away from twirling her hair.
Yeah, so this guy was just like pacing in my backyard waiting for me to come home so he could shoot me dead.
Yes, and because I have like security cameras, so later when we looked, we figured out he was back there for like 6 hours or something, like waiting. And then somebody drove up that had a similar car, like that kind of looked like my car, and I guess he got confused and he thought that maybe it was me driving up. It's just like bad luck. And he like shot at this person like 6 times, and he missed because she was in a car. She drove away.
It's good luck for her.
And all those people who say just shoot the tires, they're wrong, because this guy missed 6 times.
He set himself on fire and he shot himself.
She's smiling right now.
Like, why? I don't understand. Like, this face
Like,
does
why
not
me?
say this guy burnt himself alive and shot himself in the head.
Simultaneously. And
Oh.
then later, so I
At
got
the
a call.
same
The
time.
SSRIs are hitting so good this morning. the Prozac and the Xanax and the
doesn't feel a
Adderall
thing.
just all hit right when the coffee hit, and it was just,
like 3 or 4 in the morning. This happened probably at like 1 in the morning. I got a call at like 3 or 4 in the morning saying like, where are you? Like, can you come like to your house because someone like killed themselves there? And they were trying to just like put it all together, and they still haven't really put it all together why it happened. Or
she kind of serious. She her tone changed slightly.
Well, I was gonna say she's trying to be funny about it, but it's like also not. So she's like kind of teetering on the fence. Yeah, it's like I would have just been like, "Yo, guys, like, so okay, this is like absolutely insane," and just go out with it. Like she's trying to be like compassionate and cute at the same time about such a tragic event. It's like if you're gonna take the
Kino Corner said he's taking notes for my script right now. Good stuff.
Yep.
Random, like he saw me somewhere and he like followed me home, and then or something like that. But anyway, they never figured out like exactly why. So, but yeah, so it freaked me out really bad, and I started staying like back at my parents' house, and then I got another house somewhere else.
Oh well, that's what you do when that happens. You just buy another house. Okay,
and someone was saying maybe he's protesting Dan Schneider. Well, go hurt Dan Schneider. Why are you hurting Miranda Cosgrove?
She didn't do anything to you. It is just a weird
not incitement to violence, by the way.
It is one of those things, right, where like. There is something to be said where if you've been through enough, you do learn to laugh through when bad things happen to you.
Yes.
But like that's different than selling a product. like I can laugh about all of the awful things that I've done to myself in my lifetime, and in a way, I guess that's supposed to be. Okay, like I'll say it like this. A lot of times when I talk about the awful things that happened to me because of mistakes of my own making, right? I do so in a tone like that because it's supposed to lighten the tone so that the people who I'm talking with understand that they're allowed to treat this like a normal conversation, that I'm not like giving them some big trauma dump where they have to feel like they have to take it super seriously. It is serious, but I've dealt with it enough that I can handle what I've been through now, and I can look back on it introspectively, and it doesn't need to carry the same tone that it did when I first dealt with it.
It's not even as calculated as that.
Yeah. To me, I don't think she was barely involved in the situation, and she's kind of inflating the story, and that's what it just doesn't seem organic. And I think that's what we're picking up on here.
Coping mechanism is probably a fair.
I don't know though, because I don't like. It's not even the fact that she's casual about it. It's the fact that it's like this Valley girl. So then like this or like something. I don't know. It's like she's not even sure of the story.
Yeah.
So to me, I think she's probably exaggerating. She probably wasn't really there.
I mean, it's still like an insane story.
It's insane.
And it's not the same issue as the first story.
When the podcast host like made that quip, that joke about it, I was like, I don't know if it's your place.
Maybe if anything, it's more on the podcast host for not reeling the tone in and being like, wow, that sounds like.
It was too much of that the Zoom class, or not the Zoom class. What was that music? The Peloton music.
Yeah, it was the Peloton
music.
We
needed some more somber.
But she was on the other side of that conversation looking at Miranda Cosgrove like,
Yeah.
Like, just
and then what happened?
Unprepared for what she was about to say.
Yeah.
But
and that's not the same thing as a company releasing an ad that's very clearly
But
not
maybe
in the tone.
Bioré should partner up with Miranda Cosgrove next.
Yeah.
Except I think she worked for Proactive instead.
When you're like me and you have people killing themselves in the back.
When someone self-immolates and shoots themselves in your front yard, try a Bioré strip.
I just get so stressed I break out, and the only thing that can save me is Bioré strips.
Like all of the steaming tears coming down my face, it was really bad for my skin.
That is the natural reaction to a bunch of capitalist industries that are trying to capitalize on the trauma dumping of American society and everything that we've now attributed to victimhood and problems that have, let's face it, nothing to do with the product you're selling.
Also people just have been scrolling TikTok so much and going down doom scrolling rabbit holes that they've forgotten normal social cues, and the pandemic was part of that too.
Like imagine like Ford is like, do you have to escape a school shooting? Like, get in your Ford truck and go the opposite way. Like, that's where we're getting to now. Like, where everything is fair game for these companies that have nothing to do with the products they're selling. Like,
the only, I mean, like, the one product that comes to my mind that makes sense when it's talking about, like, tragic events like that was there, like, these backpacks that you put, like, basically, like, a plate into. Okay. And it was, like, supposed to be safe, like you could shoot through it and you wouldn't get hit. So it's like that kind of makes sense, and I think they had people talking about it, but it wasn't like an upbeat, cheery thing. It was like one of those like dark, like kind of like one-on-one interviews.
Easy,
made a little bit more sense.
There's a couple here. So Easy says, I feel like if she actually burst into tears and was wailing, you'd be saying she was being she was over dramatizing and overselling it. Well, that's kind of what we're saying, right? That like the tone just didn't quite hit what it felt like the conversation related, right? She doesn't need to be crying because nobody would buy that, but like maybe like not smiling while you're telling the story. But again, we're Monday morning quarterbacking here, so you're fair to at least critique there.
I don't think she should have reacted differently. I just thought that the video was
funny,
jarring,
and also Sketch Therapy says it's not capitalism. The search for tax exemptions is social engineering through tax code. Fair, but also a lot of it is like there's a really good video that Zach from Comics Matter did 2 days ago about ESG and how a lot of people don't realize that like the biggest focus is less on the S and less on the G and mostly on the E. The environmental aspect of it seems to be the one that most of these companies go for, and how it relates to the ability to get loans and everything like that. And I stay away from that argument because the discussion of ESG is so muddled and so hard to define, and you could ask 10 people what it means and how it works within corporations. You'll get a different answer every time based on the size of the company, the industry, what it means. Like it's just all over the place.
What's worse, ESG or DEI?
I mean, they're offshoots of the same thing, right? DEI fits comfortably into the S in ESG.
DEI is just a more accessible version of it to talk about.
A little bit more different.
How's Bioré's ESG doing?
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.